Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining the channel today. I'm Dane, your host. Hope you're doing well wherever you may find yourselves. Today is my 8th episode in my little mini-series called Back to Back, the greatest album pairs of all time. And before we get into today's band of choice, I want to go into yet again, in case you're new to the channel or new to the series, what are the qualifications to make it or to be considered the greatest album pairs of all time. Number one, they must, of course, be back-to-back in the discography. Two, they must complement one another, or a nicer way of saying that is their companion albums. Next, the second one, chronologically speaking, must pick up where the previous one left off in some way, whether talking about production, the tone of the guitar, so many different variables, right? The phrasing of the vocalist, that kind of thing, that you're sticking to the particular style that you're known for in this period. You're not going, say, from hard rock to new wave, that sort of thing. Could have been a double album, and both must be seminal works. All right, so today's band is the Scorpions, or Scorpions. So we're talking about Virgin Killer, and Taken by Force. So let's start with Virgin Killer. The first song on that album, of course, is Pictured Life. This is a hit from the album. It's one of their best, regardless of what time period we're talking about, at least in my estimation. It has that 70s classic Scorpion sound we know and love, thanks to Uli, right? And before we get into that 80s more hair metal-y style. Now, if we talk about Klaus's vocals, it's wonderful. And as you know, what's great and interesting about his voice is, one, no one sounds like him, at least to my ears. And that's because you have this gravelly at times vocals from him, and yet beautiful at the same time. Or in some instances when he sings, he sounds gravelly and beautiful when he's soft-spoken at the same time, and yet at other times it's just soft-spoken and beautiful, right? And then other times it's just gravelly, right? Either way, you get one of those three different feels from Klaus. Regardless of what you get, you know it's going to be good. If I had a favorite, I would say it's when it's that gravelly / soft-spoken and beautiful at the same time going on. Doesn't matter. I like so much of what he does with the band. Again, such a unique talent. His singing style or tone or whatever you want to call it is just so hard to describe. But I think it's fantastic. So this is a great song to start off the album. Next is Catch Your Train. Some of Uli's best guitar work, I think. It's melodic, it's heavy at times. It's melodic and heavy at the same time at times. Klaus's vocals are perhaps at his scratchy best here. And the chorus is just phenomenal. Next is In Your Park. You have a brief, heavy intro. Then you have some soft vocals from Klaus. It's one of my favorite songs of all time, if you can believe that. I'm in the minority here when it comes to the song, but I love it. And you have some great heavy metal blues from Uli. Next is Backstage Queen, of course, a song about a groupie. And some of the lyrics are quite amusing or fun or whatever you want to call it, right? Lady Madonna, Sweet Little Donna. The woman he's speaking to, of course, as I said, is a groupie. And it's about being on the road. Go figure. And to my ears, at least to me rather, it's an ear one. I love the song. Next is the title track. Opening riff is one of their best. Klaus's singing is fast to keep up with what's going on with the guitar and the drums and the bass, right? It's nice phrasing and nice pacing from the band. I meant to say Klaus's phrasing is wonderful. The vocals are a bit abrasive here. I remember not liking the song much when I first heard it as a teenager, but I've warmed up to it since then. It didn't take long for me to love this song. I think it's a great song. And it's the opposite of the previous song. It's a song about a cat, a rake, a libertine, whatever word, a mimbo, a male bimbo, right? Whatever you want to call it, but it's a fun song. All right, the next song is the underrated but loved by many at the same time, Hellcat, Uli on vocals. You have this Hendrix styling, you have the Hendrix stylings from Uli here, and you have much of that when he's in the band, right? And so vocals from Uli, guitar playing out of this world, that Hendrix phrasing from his 6-string, and the solo is one of his best of all time, despite the fact that it's very derivative because it sounds so much like Hendrix. Still love it. Next is Crying Days. Opens with a moody and has an odd sounding guitar tone to it, but I still like it. And after that moodiness that the song opens with, then you get a more guitar tone we expect from the band, from Rudolph and Uli, John Roth. Then Klaus's vocals kick in, and you have a slow phrasing from him, but it's quite mesmerizing, captivating. And then the guitar solo is haunting, because you're dealing with someone who's suffering from sadness and depression. They have a case of the blues, right? And the guitar solos, what makes the haunting all that more haunting is that it's set back a bit in the mix. So it's not right up front. And it works so well. It's bluesy, it's heavy, it's despairing, it's emotive. And Klaus repeats towards, I guess, the middle of the song. You and me is repeated over and over. So until the end. So it's the wanting to be together with someone, right? So it's a great song. Next is the much beloved Polar Nights. This is the longest track on the album, 5 minutes and 7 seconds. You have this slow fade in from Uli and Rudolph, and you hear Uli's signature sound here. The riff and the soloing from both gentlemen is just fabulous. Perhaps my favorite from both of them of all time. And it's the highlight of the album, at least for me. Uli sings here again. Down, down, right? It's great. Great chorus, and it's another earworm song, at least for me. Next, we get Yellow Raven. You have the slow intro. You have the Hendrix style again, of course. It's brief, but then you get the recognizable high-pitched notes and chords from Uli. Now, we know that's a hallmark of the band at this period, but for me, it never gets old. And then once Klaus gets going vocally, it's very soft-spoken, yet then the Hendrix style returns for the rest of the song for the most part. And this is just a song I love. And it's a great way to end the album. I'll come back to that in a minute. These ballads are superior in this era, I think, compared to what comes later in the 80s. And I like those 80s ballads quite a bit. But these, there's just something about it for me that's just even more top-notch. So while I like the 80s ballads, these for me are just something more special to them. And what's interesting about the song that has a lounge act feel to it, you can picture in your mind Klaus singing. It's a black and white video. They did videos back then, and there's smoke in the room, and he's smoking a cigarette. It's just great. It's just that bar room feel to it, right? That lounge. Anyway, it works. And the plight that's brought up in the song, the storyline, is about wanting to be taken away from wherever you are, and when it's something that we can all relate to for a better life. And the solo that pops up at 3 minutes and 46 seconds is, as my students would say, mad good. It's great, though it's simple. These last two songs are such a great way to end the album. Again, the album closing with Yellow Raven, and before that, Polar Nights. Fabulous. All right, let's talk about Taken by Force. Opens up with Steam Rock Fever. So this is very important. This album opens up in the similar vein in which Virgin Killer does. You have the hit off the album that pulls you in, that you gravitate towards like a moth to the flame. And both of these songs were played, of course, on Tokyo Tapes. So there's a similarity there, right? Not just in that they're hits and they rock hard, but they have a certain vibe and feel to them. They're twin songs in many ways. And what's interesting about the song is that it takes a while to get to the chorus. The song is only 3 minutes and change, and you don't get to the chorus until almost halfway through, a minute and a half in, something like that. And of course, you have the lyrics, Steam Rock Fever made me a rock believer. And of course, that's the name of their most recent album, Rock Believer. So there's that tie to this album as well. Kind of cool. The song opens up with like a jackhammer noise, and then it segues into some cool guitar and vocals, and there's these kids' voices in the background, in the background of the mix. This song is very different, but I do like it. And then we have the wonderful We'll Burn the Sky. It's just fantastic. You have some acoustic guitar with Klaus's soft vocals here. And then it switches to more heavy guitar stylings at the 1 minute and 3 second mark. And then the great guitar sounds at the 2 minute mark is brief, and then you get some acoustic and soft-spoken stuff again. So you get that heavy guitar at the 2-minute mark, and then some brief acoustic is what I meant to say, and then soft-spoken from Klaus again. Just fabulous. And some of the lyrics are, I feel blue since you've gone. Again, there's so many songs about feeling blue when someone's away, right? And this song is, I did a video recently on songs that ping pong back and forth between light and shade. This is one of those. This is back and forth between acoustic and heavy guitars. And the guitar near the end is just phenomenal. And the guitar at the end fades out, and the song ends with a little bit of a drum flourish, but it's kind of fading out as well. So that's how the song is a great way to end the song. Next, we've got I've Got to Be Free. So here we have the opposite. There are two basic songs in rock and roll, right? You have the song about I've got to be with, the male singer or the female singer. I've got to be with my partner, right? And then there's the one I got to break free, right? I got to get out of this relationship. It was nice having you while I did, but I got to hit the road, that kind of thing. This is I've Got to Be Free, the title, right? We're done, we're over. It's not I've got to be near you. It's the opposite, right? And of course, you have wonder if it's inspired by the Monkees, because while it doesn't sound like the Monkees, you have the part of the lyrics is I'm not your stepping stone. This is not the typical arrangement we know and love to be in a Scorpions album or song, but I like it. And of course, also some of the lyrics are Leave My Life Alone. The guitar is very Hendrix-y, Robin Trower-ish, right? And the heavy solo is the best part. I just love the song. The next is a very underrated gem and very near and dear to my heart, and that is The Riot of Your Time. Acoustic, fast-paced, with heavier guitar in the background at the same time. Kind of droney, that heavier guitar in the background. Song seems to be dealing with World War II, because he mentions 44 and 45. If the world is still alive, part of the the lyrics. It's okay. It's the lyrics, but I love the song overall because of the music. The lyrics, it's okay, but I do appreciate it for what it is. And again, it harks back to the album cover, I guess, right? Anyway, so I like the song quite a bit. The next is the one we talk about the most, or most people, and it's the longest song on the album. That is The Sails of Karen, 5 minutes, 12 seconds. You have this odd intro, these soundscape noises, sound something like would be on a King Crimson record, a little bit. Then you get the crashing cymbals, then you get the riff at almost coming up upon a minute, and it's just gorgeous, it's fabulous. Then it shifts to a shuffle boogie type riff by Rudolph, I believe, with Uli doing some heavy, faster solo next to that, or underneath that, or on top of it. Not quite sure where it is in the mix. It's hard to pinpoint. And then Klaus's lyrics, not until after 2 minutes of the song kicks in, and he sounds a little bit menacing here. And then you have an acoustic outro, and of course it's meant to be menacing because of course the song is dealing with the ferrymen of the dead in Greek mythology. All right, so yes. So the next song is Your Light. This is a great deep cut, more acoustic meets electric fanfare here. You have bluesy heavy guitar solo, and it has an anthemic feel to it. It's another odd song, but what's great about the song is this is where Uli and Rudolph, steal the show, right? This is their song. This is where they're the two that shine the brightest in this piece. And then you get the Here, Tease a Woman, She's a Man, great heavy metal song. Klaus's phrasing is fabulous, and I'll leave it at that. This is one of the songs that are near and dear to our hearts as Scorpions fans, especially for fans of the 70s, their 70s period. And then you get Born to Touch Your Feelings, acoustic intro, soft-spoken song. This is I don't care much for songs where you want to sway like this, but this one I don't mind, and it makes me want to do that. So, good song. Born to Touch Your Feelings. I think there's some live versions of this you can find on YouTube. It's a good song. And then finally, if you have the bonus edition, you get the studio version of Suspender Love, which until it was released on this version as a bonus, but with bonus tracks. Everything else after Suspender Love, which is the ninth song, are all demos and are not very good. But I bought it for Suspender Love. Up until it was made available on this, you could not get it except as the live version on Tokyo Tapes. So I always wanted this as a studio version. I have it now. It's one of their best songs of this period. The chorus is my favorite part. The guitar, of course, is what you expect from both Uli and Rudolph. Just a fun song. So there you have it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care now. Bye.